So what is spirituality according to you?
So spirituality is about cleansing ourselves in the mind, our mindset, so that we are better prepared for the world. And what do I mean by better prepared for the world? We all have a crisis that we are going in our lives. Crisis is where you want something, but something else is happening in life. The reality and the expectation are mismatched. And no matter what you do, they're not coming together. That's what is a crisis. So we may have a crisis in our relationships. You want certain kind of person, but the one you are living with or you're dating or being with is not that person. So you expect something, but it's not happening. That's a crisis, and you can't solve it easily. Sometimes you have financial crisis. You need certain amount for certain things, or you're paying certain loans, but you don't have enough money to pay, or you want to be certain earnable range, but it's not happening. And that's not easy to solve. That could be another crisis. There could be a crisis in your career. You don't like your job, but you're doing your job nevertheless. So you don't want to do your job, but you have to do your job. That's a crisis. So crisis can exist at most humans can handle 3 to 4 maximum on a healthy adult. Uh, so spirituality makes us better equipped by switching our mind, certain key switches in our head, so that we can better handle these crises that go around us. That's what to me is spiritual. It's not about going to a sacred place or meditating or any other thing. If your mind is constantly be getting to the next level, next versions of your mindset, that means you are being more and more spiritual and you're going in the right direction.
Got it. And like in terms of founder or entrepreneurship, how can spirituality actually help in that?
I mostly have been, I follow Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. Gita, essentially, there is one aspect of it which tells you humans exist at 3 levels, 3 levels of growth. So Gita can be summarized in three different in a line. In 1 minute, I'll summarize. I think founders can get to relate to each of them. So Gita tries to answer fundamentally 3 questions of human existence. Most of us will have these questions in our head at some point of time. First question is, why should I do my duty? Why should I do things for my parents? Why should I do things for you? Why should I even do this job that I don't even like? Why should I do this aspect that I'm supposed to do, but which I don't like? Why should you do this? So the answer Gita essentially says is simple. If you don't do it now, you will anyway have to do it in other ways in the future or in the next janmas. You cannot escape from it because you're doing it because there is karmic debt, both positive and negative. You have with that person or someone else. Suppose you need to serve someone you don't like. Probably he served you in the past where he didn't like you, and you have that debt. That's why you're serving. Or there's someone else who served you in a way where they didn't like. Hence, you are now serving another person. Which means in some form or the other, that work will get done, if not now. So the way Gita says, why not do it now than in the future? Because not doing is also a task. Not doing is also a particular kind of karma. It will also have ramifications. So you rather do it. Otherwise, you will have to get this benefit or pain in the future. You can only postpone, but you can't escape. That's the first aspect. So it answers the question, why should you do your duty? If not now, it will get done anyway, with or without your consent in the future. That's why it says just do your duty and don't focus on the results. And that goes deeper into it because most of us think, I do this, but I'm not getting what I'm expecting. So that is a different theory. I'll tell it later. The second fundamental question Gita tries to answer is, who am I? Because the first question itself has I in it. Why should I do my duty? So Gita says, do you really know who I am? And it says, I am not what you think you are, which means it defines the concept of a soul or the spirit. Essentially says everything that you can experience, you can even experience and imagine. For example, the concept of thought, the concept of smell, concept of love, the concept of time. So these all things it says is not the spirit. What you have is, let's say you're Kartik. There are 2 people inside you. It says it's the Kartik soul and Kartik. They're not the same. And the true I is something that is permanent, which has no death, neither birth. So it says, always understand that the body you have, the Kartik you think, is just a shirt which will be removed and some other shirt will wear tomorrow. It only exists for 100 years. And so don't be too much worried about it because it will be gone. So life is like a 3-day festival. Do good with a smile and rest of it is noise. So that's what it's trying to say. It essentially helps you to detach from things. It helps you to come up with a different way of thinking. Suppose you eat ice cream, you don't like it. So the part 2 of Gita says, don't say that I don't like it. Let's say Kartik doesn't like it. I has only one duty, to just observe whether Kartik suffers or they're happy, or Kartik is going through any sort of emotion. I doesn't care. I only observe, and I's job is to only keep observing, so that you either eat your complete your karmic deck, both positive and negative. Essentially, I fundamentally says that talk in terms of as though something is happening to your name, not you. So this gives a lot of stress release if you understand it and implement it in your own life. But probably don't talk it in front of others. They may not understand. But when you talk to yourself, you can say that I'm not feeling angry. Let's say Krishna is feeling angry. That immediately makes you actually more slightly calmer. But it's not you. It's the Krishna who's getting angry. So that's the second part of it. It says, who am I? So I is essentially the spirit and the body and your identity that you think who you are. Third aspect is a path for growth. So it tries to answer the question, how do I grow in my life? It says that all humans exist in 3 levels: tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. Tamasic level is where you're doing self-harm or harming others with or without knowing. That could be even very mild. Let's say you want to sleep at 11, but every day you sleep at 1 a.m. You know that's not healthy. You're actually harming yourself. But it's still there's an aspect of tamasic guna in it. Or you are constantly harsh towards some people around you because you think they are hurting you. You think they don't deserve nice kindness, so you are harsh towards them. There you are knowingly harming them, though there are better, mature ways to do it. So when you're at a stage where you're harming yourself or others, which most of us do, especially self-harm is a lot more common than we think. So you don't want, let's say you're having a good meal, you know that your stomach is overall okay, but you want to have a little bit more. So a little bit more biryani, a little bit more roti. And you know that stomach after that gets full, and you know that it's not healthy. But nevertheless, you do it. So that is self-harm. Self-harm doesn't need to be very intense where you go and slap someone. It is many small things you do to your body and mind. Though you know that it's not healthy, you'll still do it. Let's say even binge watching. You know that it's not healthy for your eyes. You nevertheless do it. There are many such things we do which are not healthy. So that is level 1, it says. That means that person mostly exists in level 1. Tamasic. Level 2 is where there's no level 1. You matured, you're not harming yourself rarely. You're very disciplined. You're also being very careful of not harming others. And you're also trying to achieve certain things in life, like that are non-easy, like goals or dreams. You're pursuing them. But the only catch is if they don't get materialized, you feel very bad. You have a lot of negative emotions. Either you feel depressed, or you feel angry, or you feel jealous. Some sort of thing where you can't get out of it. Let's say you prepare for civils exams, you studied for 1 year, and you didn't crack it. And you feel bad about yourself. And you start to not sleep well, eat well, get frustrated around people, feel jealous. So that is level 2. Level 2 is where your focus is goal achievement. But when the results are not met, you go through a lot of negative emotion. Though there is some bit of self-harm also there, but it's not as much as a tamasic level. Level 3 is where it said is the highest level, where you're still very attached to things. You want to achieve things. You want to desire things. You want to pursue your dreams, but you're detached from the results, which means you don't give a damn whether you actually achieve it or not. But you nevertheless do it. You find duty in just pursuing what you want to do and doing dharma, what you're supposed to do. But whether it's materialized or not, completely negative result, you don't care. You stay detached. So level 3 is all about detachment while still being attached to your desires and goals. So Gita says there are ways to move from each level, one level to one level, and your level decides how peaceful you are. And it says peace is not an emotion; it's a state of existence. It's a state of mindset. And when you're the soul by nature is peaceful. Suddenly, sometimes you have a fountain of bliss that comes, which is again, it feels like an emotion, but it's not. It's just a state of existence. That's the only true emotion I ever has. Everything else is just they call it as a maya or a joke. So that's why essentially part 2 says, don't bother, just observe. So Kartik can be very happy when he gets what he wants in life, or very angry when he doesn't get what he wants in life, or when someone is hurting him. But I doesn't care. I just says, I'm watching you do your drama. I'll just sit here and smile at it. So essentially, the third part says, how do you grow in life? It says, find which level you are and do certain things to go to the next level, and automatically you will find peace. So they use different words for it. Some call it as moksha, renunciation, not renunciation, moksha or peace or bliss. Different people use different things, but that's a state of existence where you're still very attached to things around you. People may not even guess you are in that level. And when things don't happen, you are still the same. Good example is in a cricket game. So when you're a kid, from the time of age 0 to probably age 15, you're first learning how to play cricket. You want to know how to stand. You want to know what is a ball, what is a bat. You learn what does action mean, how to do things. As you grow, let's say once you're at 18 or 21, suppose whenever you ball, you constantly ball at people's legs and it's hurting them, but you don't care. Or you are batting in such a way that it's hurting you when you're batting. It's always hitting your hand. Or you're not catching the bat properly, but you have a back pain. So this is when you're at level 1, where you're hurting yourself or the other person while playing your game. Level 2 is where you're very mindful of the pain it's giving you or others. So you don't intentionally try to ball in such a way that it hurts. You don't throw the ball at the wicket so that if there's a person, you will be mindful of it. But in level 2, you really try hard to win the match. And when you don't win the match, you feel very bad. You feel icky and you feel very restless. That is level 2. Level 3 is where you're like a coach and also a player. Whether you win or not, you really don't care. But you're still learning your lessons. It doesn't mean you will be complacent. So winning or losing, you treat the same way. And when you lose, you'll just go home the same way. Where you win, if there's a party, you'll go to the party, but you'll still behave the same way. People can't even differentiate looking at you whether you won the match or lost the match. That is level 3. So it essentially says graduate in life from learning the very basics as you grow up through your schooling and stuff. Then see whether you landed up level 1 or 2. And if it's at level 1, move to 2, then 2 to 3. If not, if you're already at 2, then see. Do certain things to go from 2 to 3. So that's it. I think now the answer to your question, how would founders find value in it? Let me think. What was the first one I said? 3. Why should you do a duty? Yeah. Founders will realize that many times things are not working the way they want. There's a obstacle at every step. There is no money. Customers are not coming. Product is not coming out. Many things that you expect are not happening. But Gita essentially says, nevertheless, do it. You're doing it not because you think you're doing it to make the company win. No. There's so much karmic debt you have for everyone around you, your co-founder, your employees, your sales team, or your customers. There's something they gave to you in the past, hence you are here to give it back to them. So you will treat it like a sacred duty. You don't treat it like, I need to win, I need to win, I need to win. And the first part also says, okay, that is the first part. The third part is very helpful, the detachment. So whether you get the sale or not get the sale, whether you make good revenue or not good revenue, internally you are not bothered. But investors may not like it, but it's a good state to first be calm and at peace. So you can focus on why we are not achieving the goals we are not meeting, and focus on the task. Now, part 1 really talks about why should you, many of us have a big question. I'm doing something, but I'm not getting the results I want. Why? Why does it constantly happen to me only that I'll do all this hard work, but it doesn't materialize? So implicitly, Gita is kind of a formula. So your results or a function are equal to f of your action, a bunch of, I think, 6 or 7 things. Let me see if I can remember. So your action does impact your results, but that's not the only thing that decides the results. The second thing is your karmic debt. So debt is of 2 types. If you have done good things to someone else, it's like a positive bank balance. If you've done bad things to someone else, it's like a loan.
Hmm.
The debt that you have, the person who is getting impacted and you, together, the karmic debt of each of them will also decide the results. Which means if you have, you did some harm to some entity in the past,
Hmm.
no matter what you do now, till that debt is clear, you won't get the favorable results. Which is why essentially Gita says focus on your karma, focus on your karma, not on the results. Because 99% of the times, what results are not in your control, because so many other variables which you don't have control at this moment that will define your outcomes.
Hmm.
So one is activity, second is a karmic debt, third is the intent. The intent is why and what is your intent when you're doing that action. Suppose your intent comes from a positive angle, there's a higher chance it will materialize. But if your intent is from a negative angle, the chance is lower. For example, let's say I would like to do this task so that I earn a lot of money, I become rich, and I can buy all these things and I can die, let's say. Versus if the intent says that I want to do this because I want to become rich, and good chunk of thing, I want to do something better for my family or people around me. You have two different intents. The latter has much higher chance of success because the more it spreads across all souls, that has a higher value than if it's only impacting your soul. So action, karmic debt or credit, debit or credit. Third is intent. Let me see if we can remember the other ones. The grander plan around the grander karmic debt around that context. So there's not karmic debt just on person, it's also on a town, it's a city, a group of people, a region also has karmic debt. So if there was ever, let's say, a massive war where there's a lot of pain, it went for many years in that land where you stand, there's also debt that's part of it. Or there's a community which behaved in certain way now or in the past and continuously do it, and you are part of that community or live around them, that also factors in. That's what I mean by the karmic, the debit credit of the context where you are operating. Which means the same task, let's say if you do in a place which is more sacred versus a place which has a lot of bad pain and past to it, the chance of favorable results is higher in the former situation. That's the karma of the context where you are standing in. So this karmic debt of you, karmic debt of folks, context around your intent and your action. The 2-3 other things, sorry, I'm not able to remember, but that's it. Note that you don't have much control on anything else except the intent, and the action is what you have control on. But you don't have any control on the karmic aspect that has happened to you in the past, or the karmic balance, I would want to say, of the context you are operating in. Hence, it essentially says, dude, it's quite a complex equation. You only focus on your action. The results is in my duty. You have no control on it. Essentially, also in other words, it says detach yourself, not just from the outcome itself. Outcome always be detached, and the action nevertheless do it. And that's how you should live. And that's a very good way to handle panic attacks or depression for founders. Because often they go into situations where no matter what they do, things are not working out. At the minute you're detached from the outcomes, you're more calm inside. And also within your startups, if you're harming yourself or harming others, let's say you're not even sleeping, you're harming your body. You're having panic attacks, but you're not doing anything about it. You know that there are people around you that felt toxic, but you're not trying to solve it, which means you're at level 1. It essentially makes you aware where you need to be. And also, you also believe, which is part 2 of it, who is I. So if you understand I am the soul, not the body, you will never hurt someone else, because someone else is also I, the spirit. And you treat every spirit as you're like a brother or sister. Would you ever hit your own leg? The same way you will never hit or harm another person. Which also means even at a company's level, you will never want loss for your competitors. You'll only say, I want to win. You will never say, I want them to lose. You realize that there's enough, and God has a bigger plan for all my competitors. but I want to win. That's all. Whether the other team wins or loses, I don't care. I don't bother. So this helps you focus and be perfect at what you're doing and continuously improve. So these are all great lessons for the founders. Sorry, a long answer to a short question.
Got it. And like in this real world, or like in the current world, right? Kali Yug जिसे कहते हैं. So, according to you, who is actually Krishna and Arjun?
I think the gurus or the life itself is a Krishna. If you're following a guru or a particular book or GPT itself to try to solve your problems, or life itself, which is constantly giving you surprises and slaps at the same time, quite often, that is Krishna. It's trying to tell you, dude, understand what I'm trying to tell directly or indirectly. And Arjuna is the body, Kartik's body, not the I itself, because I already knows everything. If you are already in I in the spiritual sense, you don't bother about anything. In fact, neither death, nor birth or anything makes you feel the same. And you are usually fearless if you're I already. And Arjuna was not fearless. He had a lot of fears. That's why the whole talk happened. So I is the body, the entity that we believe who we are. Let's say that in my case, Krishna. I think it will be confusing. Let's say me, Vamsee, is the body. The body is I. Sorry, is the Arjuna. And the mind itself is also part of it. Krishna is the guru you have, or the things that are always trying to tell you that you seek where you want solutions. It's the life itself, or the people around you, or the gurus you have is Arjuna. Sorry, is the Krishna. The world itself is the war that you have that you live in. Because nothing around you behaves the way you want. Simplest of things to the most complex of people around you. Nothing happens the way we want. So you're constantly at war in that sense. Because you badly want to seek certain changes to happen around us, but it's not happening. That's the war we live in. But if you are in the I state, you realize that even seeking and having the desire of reducing the gap between the reality and the gap between reality and what you seek, or let's say what you seek, that itself, I tries to detach itself. It again goes back to the same thing. You don't even expect things to happen the way you want, and you even detach yourself from it. But you nevertheless try to make the things the way you want, but you don't care whether it really materializes or not. So that's the lesson Krishna is trying to teach to Arjuna. Dude, go fight. The results are not anywhere in your control. If you don't fight, some other day you will have to fight some. If not this war, some other war. So why don't you just do it? Secondly, Krishna is saying this is a temporary thing. The person who is fighting is Arjuna, not the Arjuna's soul. And right now, understand that both are different. And soul is ever powerful and just observes. It doesn't even bother whether you win this war or doesn't win this war. Whether you kill your close people in the war or whether you get killed, it doesn't really care. It knows that if not, even if your body dies, again, it will take a rebirth in some other form, because you are only trying to eat your debt or enjoy your debt that you have. To summarize, the identity that we have is Arjuna. The things that are trying to teach us or trying to help us solve problems, or the gurus around us, is Krishna. The world where we live is the war, is the place where Kurukshetra, where the war is constantly, every moment it's happening.
Got it. And like there is a very generic problem, right? Let's say if either someone is preparing for an exam, UPSC maybe, or like if someone is trying to build a business or a startup, right? The one thing which is common in both of them is patience, right? It actually takes lot of iterations, lot of time to get the results what you actually wanted to achieve, right? So let's say for UPSC it may even take 4 or 5 years, but for a business it might take 2 to 3 years, right? But during the journey, maybe after like first 6 months you get started, or first 1 year you get started, right? Initially you are not seeing the results, right? Or maybe the first attempt of the exam which you gave, you failed in that, right? And then you become impatient, right? Okay, I'm putting my efforts, I'm putting my everything, but results are not coming. I'm getting pressure from my parents, I have left my job, I'm running out of money, right? So now there are two type of situations which you're handling. So one is your preparation or your company growth, right, which you are focusing on. And second one is the secondary pressure which is coming to you, whether it is in the form of your parents' pressure or the financial pressure, right? So, like, how can someone basically become immune to this, or how can someone handle this situation better so they can actually get to the results that they wanted?
I think you can look at it two ways. I think I already answered this. One is always think of identity. Another one is at detachment. Maybe these two words you should write it on your wall and put it in your bedroom. If we take the same example, let's say I gave the exam once and I failed, and there's pressure from myself and people around us to stop doing this, maybe go for a job. But I still want to give it, but I'm not very confident. Here you should say that it's not Kartik who failed. Sorry, it's not me who failed. It's Kartik that failed, not me. I personally don't care whether Kartik succeeds or fails. I don't care if Kartik becomes a collector or if he becomes a beggar. Either way, it's all happening because there's a karmic debt he needs to take. Maybe if he has so much negative karmic debt, tomorrow things might even become worse. But nevertheless, I will have to do it. So you go back into, so one way to tell ourselves is the theory of the same thing. My failure is not because I didn't study hard. It's because I did some harm to someone at some point of time. The pain my body has been given to deal with. But I don't care. So the aspect of the detachment from the outcome, first of all, gives us immediate peace. Okay, I failed, but I didn't fail. You say, let's say, let me talk of myself. Vamsee failed. Fine. The minute you say it, Vamsee failed, not I that who failed, it first makes you slightly less restless. Okay, you understand this. And secondly, you will question, why did I fail? Again, it's not about why you failed. It's why the question is why Krishna failed. Why Krishna failed is there is something bad happened in the past, and my body has to deal with it now, and it's dealing with it. That's all. So that's how one way you'll end up rationalizing yourself. So one is dealing with identity, saying that the one who failed is not me. It's Vamsee who failed. The second is telling why they failed, because there are bigger factors at here that made it a failure. And the third aspect is, then should I stop studying? No. It goes back to the first aspect, the duty. And in general, try anything thrice strongly. That's a general rule I say. Even after third time, it won't happen. Be it you are loving a guy, as suppose you're a girl, you try to express and try 3 strong times to see if you can tell your interest in him. But if he is being not kind or maybe not getting the vibe is not happening, so leave it. It only means there's something concept called vasana. Vasana versus so vasana is an inclination we all have where there's no reason for it, and it comes from the past janmas. That means there's certain things you badly wanted in the past, but you couldn't complete in the previous lives. Now you're trying to complete it, and vasanas can often cause a lot of pain, because if you try 3 strong times and it happens, great. Otherwise, it's just me. Great means maybe it is meant to happen for you. But 3 times it did not means it is just a inclination you're having from the previous lives. It's almost like a habit. So we have many such. Most of us have many such vasanas. For example, for some reason, let's say from childhood, whenever you notice. Let's say sometimes you realize that whenever you see a face or certain kinds of face, you immediately feel angry. There's no reason for it. For maybe if in the movies and this face is shown like a very kind or very heroic face, but you just feel angry looking at that face each time, and you can't you don't know a reason for it. You never even seen that face before. So that's like an inclination. Probably that's not a good example. Or even the food. Let's say you like something that is very sour, and anything sweet you hate it. Again, that's an inclination. There's no strong reason you would say it's your preferences. It's kind of preferences. And they would, suppose there's some sweet you absolutely hate. It's probably because, again, in the past lives, someone fed you so much despite your non-interest, that initially you loved it, but you ate so much of it, now you hate it.
Hmm.
So these are all different inclinations. In general, anything strong, try thrice. If not, leave it as a your vasana. It's just there because it's there deep inside me, and I will leave it. But coming to this, even for the exams, if you realize that you failed once, you will rationalize yourself that the Vamsee failed, not me, first thing. Second, the failure happened not because of me not trying hard enough. The larger karmic factors at play. But I'll still do my duty. I will give 2 more times. I'll still attempt it. And there are many people who are right now in the IAS levels, cadres, who are second or third attempts. There's nothing wrong. If they felt bad or depressed or angry after their first attempt, they would never have gone there. They would never have got what they want. And why they are in those roles? Again, same thing. They a lot of people in there. Let's say take a collector. He came in third attempt. Once he became a collector, let's say he has done a lot of good to the people around him or to that area around him. It's only often it's because he was in that area before or with those people before in his lives, and they have done good to him. It's his loan to pay it off. That's why he went to that role. Yeah, that's it. I think once you understand the karmic theory of why you work, what is duty, and how to detach yourself, and how to talk as though it's happening to your body, these 3 things is the same answer for most of the questions we have. Yeah, to summarize for your question, you said if you failed once, or if you're a founder where it's constantly failing, the product is not going anywhere, then how would they deal with it? The social pressure. Let's talk the inner pressure. First of all, inner pressure will immediately be gone if you said that Krishna failed, Vamsee failed, not me. That immediately gives you a stress relief. Second, if you again take the first part of Gita, saying, I should still nevertheless do my duty. I'll give 3 attempts max. After that, it's fine. I should not pursue it. It'll still make you ready for the next attempt. Third, if you also say that you fail not because of your not lack of effort, but because of something larger karmic elements that are at play here. Sometimes the play is very, very, very complex. You probably failed because this time when the seats open, they are not at a district you are meant to be. So the seat might be open, let's say, for a Sirisila district. But maybe your karmic book says that you need to do a lot for the Kurnool district. Maybe there's no seat open right now for Sirisila district. That's why you're not meant to be, since you don't. The reason why you gave is just to prepare better for the next round. That's when next round probably there's a seat open for the Kurnool district. And when you give, that's exactly where you're meant to be. That's why you fail now. If you pass now, then there's no karmic link at all. If you are put there, because there's no loan or good things you need to experience from that area. That's why the karmic story is a lot more things that you can't imagine. That's why when you don't get the results, there's often something better coming your way. So all these 3 ways of thinking: one is detachment from the outcome. Second is detachment of your body from the outcome. Second is understanding why you failed. Both of them actually, not 3, can help you handle that stress better from internally. Externally, when you're getting pain, you only say yourself that the pain is not coming to me but to Vamsee. Parents are constantly nagging Vamsee, let them nag, who cares? And parents are being supporting Vamsee, let them support, who cares? So any external thing, you really don't give a damn when you're the minute you're detached. But you'll ensure that you don't harm them. You don't say anything back to them. You'll have to probably try to convince them, or you'll try to set boundaries at enough of your nagging, stop it. But you're very always careful to not to specifically hurt them. Even if you may be hurt doesn't mean you'll always be soft and nice. Sometimes being angry, but in a very controlled way, using anger like a tool, is needed, and that doesn't mean it's a hurt. So there's some gray area. I think the more experience you have, you will realize it. A good example is, suppose you are coming on a bike. Some guy is coming on a wrong road, literally in front of us. You put a brake. He in fact hits you. And then he starts shouting at you and he gives you galis. Right? Now, how do you handle that? Just a simple way. If you believe, first of all, if you believe he did the mistake, you should make that point very clear to him. Doesn't need to go slap him. But say that you did the mistake. He may not listen, it's fine, but it's important for at least to communicate that. And second, suppose he becomes violent at you. He hits you and he hits your bike and he tries to slap you. And for self-protection, you need to slap him twice. And then immediately says, sorry, it happened. Do you want any help? That's where the care comes. So using control, anger and care together completely blocks the other person's brain. And in fact, is the best way to handle it. Suppose तूने 2 बार मारा, उसको कर्चिफ भी दे दिया. Sorry, मुझे इसलिए मार, I had to hit you because you are being trying to hit me. But I'm sorry if it hurt you. Is there anything I can do to make you feel better? So so this is a good example where people are often confused. Does spiritual mean you should be silent all the time? No. Use anger as a weapon, but along with, it's a very controlled anger. The minute you slap or the minute you say your words, you should have zero anger. You should go back to a neutral state. And now you realize that you also caused hurt. And now you try to show some care. And I help you now. I know it's your cheek has become red. And I'm sorry I did that, but anything I can do, let me know. So I don't know where we started. What was that you asked?
I also forgot.
Okay. Let me see if I remember what you asked. You said internal and external pressure. When you fail, how do you handle it? I said external pressure, you really don't care because it always happens to your body. It doesn't happen to your soul. Whether your parents or friends or others laugh at you, smile at you, mock you, imitate you, or be rude to you, you don't really care. You said they're being cared to my body. And why are they doing it? Because you did to them in some past lives, to them or someone else. They're constantly rude or being painful to someone else in the past. That's why this fellow is with me right now, being as a mother or father or brother or sister or a friend or a life partner who is doing the same. You just laugh at it. You don't bother too much about it.
Got it. So, like one thing, like sometimes, let's say when I see a Indian flag, right, or maybe a patriotic movie, so I get emotional, right? And secondly, I hate fights and wars, right? I don't know, like it's in me. I'm not able to get the answer. Why is it so, right? Because sometimes I try to be very detached as well. It's just one country or a land, right? And this is something which is man-made, right? You know, you don't need to be get attached or something, right? So maybe like it might be the case. Maybe in the last life when I died, I may be fighting in some war. But that can be possible from like your statement that some things are carried from your past life and you don't even know why you like them or hate them. So yeah, that was like very interesting point.
True. Maybe you were a soldier in the past, or you lost your, let's say, your brother in a war in your past lives, and when he was dying, he died in your hands, and that makes you very emotional about war itself. That might be happening. First thing. Second, probably you are a deeply motherly figure in past lives. It doesn't even mother means male, female, but even fatherly, where whoever for your children, you took care of them so much that there's no end to how much love you gave, and you wanted to give more, but that person died soon. Whoever you wanted to give to, that carries forward also. Even if someone whom you don't know, if they die, you feel very bad about it. In fact, you feel very emotional as though someone you close to you died. That might also have carried forward. In general, for wars, the thing is, there is a massive karmic exchange that happens at that time. So the person who died, or the community itself who died, they would have done something bad in the current or past lives to some other entities around them. or that, yeah. And they have to bear this because they did it before to someone else, and they were all designed to be born in that land during that time, to take up that pain of war. Yeah. Also, I think one good thing with war is it always causes every destruction has a construction that follows soon. That always, and that's just a balance of energy that happens. Maybe the buildings were all flat after the war, but earlier there were very high karmic animals or trees that were staying in that area. And maybe the way it was removed was so barbaric that the karmic thing now, the reverse happens. Now you will be gone because you took me out. So unless you are the God himself or herself, you won't know exactly why that is happening. But one thing we know is there is an exchange happening where if I hit you, it means someday you hit someone else or hit the other person in the past. That's why it's happening in reverse. Yeah. So in general, for wars, what I would do is I would do two things. First of all, stay detached from the emotion of it. Because it's just a karmic exchange that's happening, massive exchange between communities itself or countries itself. Second, if it is in your control, because kindness is a very key trait of the soul. Because for soul, everything is a soul, including the stone and the molecule, and it treats souls as brothers or sisters, and it loves to give, but it doesn't care if the give actually happens or not. If it's in your control where you can contribute something to make someone in that war better, do it. In fact, you will do it. No one will even tell you. The pain you're feeling is actually part of you. You care about all the souls that were dying in the war. Let's say you can just put a Facebook post saying, I wish the families of people who were gone can sleep well from the next day onwards. Or here is my 100 rupee donation to this NGO who's trying to do certain things for that community in that region. So whatever you could do, it's in your control that you feel is reasonable. Definitely, you will do it the minute you say that when you detach yourself from the body. Second, the emotion itself, you will be detached. Whether someone wins or loses, let it happen. It's meant to happen. And so much that you will even be detached from the planet itself. So which means it's not in Gita, but in Vedas, which is a larger context of, I think, Vedas essentially say that, so there are 4 yugas, there is a name for it. Let's call it a block. And it said you are at this, and this 4 repeat. That means after 4 yugas, the most important species that is dominating that thing dies and it restarts again. And it even says we are at probably a few thousands, maybe in tens of thousands, 63,000 something. That block is happening right now, and you are at the 4th block. That means there are at least 63,000 patterns that happened in the past. And we are at 4th block, it again repeats. So much that eventually the earth itself will cease to exist. Because even there is a age for the earth also. The sun would become eventually bigger enough so that it consumes the earth anyway. So someday earth will be gone. So knowing that, you realize that the last part is usually the 4th yuga is part of the destruction, because unless everything is destroyed, you can't rebuild everything again. The earth itself, let's say, including the people around us, the money, things will become more and more painful if you identify with the body. But if you are with the soul, you know that even before the earth was there, I was there. I just took different forms of shirts every day, and this is probably the 71,942,466th shirt I'm wearing. Fine, who cares? I'll continue to exist for very long. So that's how you tell, and you really detach yourself from the destruction also. So when you say things around are going bleak, they are not going bleak. The body is experiencing that, your identity is experiencing that bleakness. When the earth was completely a fluid, or there's no trees at all, it was very hot land, till the souls existed, till the consciousness existed. It didn't care whether it was very green, or whether it's completely flat, or whether it was complete fluid or just liquid. It doesn't bother. Because there are 3 sorts of consciousness. One is semi-manifested, manifested, and unmanifested. Unmanifested always existed even before the Big Bang. And a small portion of it became cut into 2 chunks, manifested and semi-manifested. Manifested means everything that you can see and experience with your 5 senses. Semi-manifested is those things you can understand with your brain, but you can't sense it. Like the concept of time itself. What Veda says, time is also a semi-manifested form. At one point of time, it didn't even exist. It started at some point of time. Or the concept of thought, concept of emotion, concept of intent. These are all semi-manifested forms of energy. When they didn't even exist at one point of time, they came into existence at that moment. But a massive portion of it is still unmanifested. And the earth, even whatever you touch, is part of manifestation, manifested consciousness. If you see at a bigger level, The soul belongs to the unmanifested peace. It even existed before even time existed. And so have been we. That's why the closest friends to us is not the people around us, our best friends. Probably the closest friends to us are all the 5 elements of the universe. The sun, the moon, they have been there since ages. We have been even there even before them. So that's why you treat nature as your friends, like a very old friends from the very old past, that you have been being with them. And that's why when you think that way, when you call the water, the sun, the earth, the air, and the emptiness as your brothers and sisters, it feels very different. In fact, it's one way to really feel stress-free. So when you see sun, you could say, hey, brother, nice to see you. It's been almost 43 million years I have been seeing you and hope you're doing well. That's how you talk to it. Coming to the wars, right? That was your original question. You essentially be detached from the pain of it, understanding that there's a massive karmic exchange that's happening there. Secondly, if you can do something for them, definitely do it. It's in your control. Yeah. And if you're having a lot of emotion around it, most probably there is some past strong emotion about it. There's some past things from your past lives that was unfulfilled, and now that's being continued now. Maybe some people feel very angry when they look at wars. Like you may be feeling a lot of compassion. Different people may have different feelings towards it.
Got it. Now, like coming towards the end of the podcast, if someone is basically starting spirituality or starting to learn spirituality right from zero, right? So what should be the right path or any 2 or 3 resources he or she should refer for this?
The beginning point I would recommend them is to find aspects about them where they're doing self-harm. That's where they should begin. It's not about reading a book or having a guru. Go to GPT, tell who you are, your context, and ask what are 50 different ways someone like me might be doing self-harm. It will give you a list of 50. Imagine there are yes, no questions. Answer yourself. Mostly among 50, most of us at least have 20 of them that we are doing without realizing. Start from there. Find what those 20 are and one by one see what you could and which are is most important one. Tries to find ways on how to come out of it. That's it. In that pursuit of finding answers to it, you will automatically get into the world of spirituality. Because first you will end up having you need a guru for it. The GPT itself can be one, or certain specific books focused on that. That's why it's almost like you start from your first grade, then go to intermediate, and then go to bachelor's and then PhD. But to start from the first grade, you need to know which problems to focus on first. And the problems often begins with the self-harm thing. Find all ways you are doing without even you realizing. As you are solving it, automatically you'll get into this world.
Got it.
Because many times people feel spirituality means doing some spiritual practices. For me, that's useless unless it is linked to some area where you know you're not good at and you need to improve on it. If you don't have that improvement DNA, forget it. You will never be spiritual. You will feel as though for those moments you're feeling good, it's because you're being close to God. But more or less, there won't be any growth. You will still be harsh towards someone. You can still not grow the way you want to grow in your life. So much that you'll end up resisting God and stop it. That's what most of us probably end up doing. They do something spiritual practice, nothing is happening, they'll drop it. Nothing is happening because you are not realizing that unless you change your own mindset on things you are doing wrong, it's of no use. It's like you're doing batting every day, bowling every day, without anyone saying where exactly you're going wrong, where you need to improve. करता ही रहेगा, कुछ नहीं होगा. वही बॉल आता रहेगा, वही मिस्टेक्स होता रहेंगे, तेरा लेवल वही रहेगा. Unless you question yourself or you tell someone to tell you where you're holding the ball is wrong. Focus on that first. Why am I holding it wrong? Is it my fingers are large enough? Or no one told me how to hold it? Or have I issue in my wrist? Or I'm probably not meant to be a left-hander, but maybe a right bowler maybe is the right thing I should. So it's an exploration stage itself. Just figuring out how to not harm yourself, even at one level, is a journey in itself. As you do one by one, you keep on automatically, it gets you into the world of spirituality.
Got it. And like just as an end note, can you ask everyone to subscribe to the channel?
Yeah. So Kartik is a good friend of mine. We need more young blood like Kartik that can pass on the knowledge to the world. And everything he has been doing has been very good quality and is unique in his own way. Please support him. If you help him, you're actually helping the world. So hence, please subscribe to this podcast or channel from Kartik.
Thank you ये एपिसोड एंड तक देखने के लिए एंड शेयर दिस एपिसोड टू समवन हु यू थिंक विल बी सक्सेसफुल इन फ्यूचर एंड चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लेना बिकॉज इट विल हेल्प अस टू ब्रिंगिंग मोर अमेजिंग फाउंडर्स एंड बिजनेस पर्सन और कमेंट सेक्शन में बताओ आप नेक्स्ट किसके एक्सपीरियंस से सीखना चाहते हो